Hey everyone! Welcome back to Speak Better Daily. I'm Emma, and I'm so happy you're here with us today.
And I'm Kumar. Today, we're going to practice something you use every single day English conversation.
That's right. We're going to have a natural conversation about daily life, just like two friends talking together in Canada.
You'll hear simple English about mornings, food, work, study, shopping, friends, and everyday plans.
So don't just listen, speak with us. Pause the episode, repeat our sentences, and try to answer our questions before we do.
Grab your headphones, relax, and imagine you're sitting right here with us. Are you ready, Emma?
I'm ready. Let's make English practice simple, natural, and fun. Let's begin.
Good morning, everyone. It's Kumar, and welcome back to Speak Better Daily. Today, I want you to imagine that we are spending a normal morning together. Not a perfect morning, not a special day, just a normal day with simple things that happen in everyday life. Let me tell you about my morning. I usually wake up at around 7 o'clock. The first thing I do is look at the time. Sometimes I get out of bed immediately, but honestly, sometimes I stay in bed for another 5 minutes. I tell myself, just 5 more minutes. But you know what happens next? 5 minutes becomes 10 minutes. Then 10 minutes becomes 15 minutes. And suddenly I look at the clock and say, oh no, I need to get up. I think many people can understand that feeling. So I finally get out of bed, open the curtains, and let some sunlight into my room. I like starting my day with natural light because it makes me feel more awake. Then I make my bed. I know making the bed sounds like a very small thing, but I think it makes a difference. When my bed is clean and organized, my room feels better, and I feel like I have already finished one small task. After that, I drink a glass of water. Sometimes I forget to drink enough water during the day, so I try to start my morning with water. Then I go to the bathroom, wash my face, brush my teeth, and get ready for the day. At this point, I usually start thinking about everything I need to do. I ask myself, what do I have to do today? Maybe I have work. Maybe I have something important to study. Maybe I need to go shopping. Maybe I have a meeting. Or maybe I have a completely free day. And honestly, I really enjoy those quiet mornings when I don't have to hurry. After getting ready, I go to the kitchen and make breakfast. My breakfast is usually simple. I might have eggs and toast, or sometimes oatmeal and fruit. And of course, I need something to drink. Sometimes I have coffee. When I have coffee in the morning, I feel like my brain finally says, okay, Kumar, now we can start the day. But I try not to spend too much time looking at my phone while I eat. This is something I'm working on, because sometimes you pick up your phone just to check one message. Then you see another message. Then you check social media. Then you watch a short video. Then another video. And before you know it, 20 or 30 minutes have passed. You look at the clock and think, where did the time go? So now, I try to keep my phone away while I'm having breakfast. Instead, I think about my day. I think about what is important and what I need to finish first. I also like listening to English in the morning. Sometimes I listen to a short conversation. Sometimes I listen to a story. And sometimes I simply repeat English sentences out loud. For example, I might say, I'm getting ready for the day. I'm making breakfast. I'm drinking coffee. I'm checking my schedule. I'm getting ready to leave. These sentences are very simple, but that's the point. If you are learning English, you don't always need complicated sentences. You need useful sentences that you can actually use in your daily life. Think about what you are doing right now. Maybe you are sitting in your room. You can say, I'm sitting in my room. Maybe you are drinking coffee. You can say, I'm drinking coffee. Maybe you are preparing to go to work. You can say, I'm getting ready for work. This is how you can practice English every day without needing a classroom. You can turn your normal life into English practice. After breakfast, I usually check my bag before leaving home. I make sure I have my phone, wallet, keys, and headphones. I learned to do this because I have forgotten my keys before. And believe me, looking for your keys when you are already late is not fun. One morning, I was in a hurry. I checked the table. Nothing. I checked the kitchen. Nothing. I checked my bedroom. Nothing. I checked my jacket. Nothing. I started getting frustrated. I thought, where are my keys? Then I suddenly realized something. I was already holding them in my hand. I just stood there and laughed at myself. Sometimes we look everywhere for something that is right in front of us. Anyway, after checking my things, I put on my shoes and get ready to leave. Before I open the door, I usually take one final look around my room. Lights off. Yes. Phone. Yes. Wallet. Yes. Keys. Yes. Everything is ready. Then I leave home and start my day. And that is my normal morning. Nothing special. But that's exactly why I like talking about it. Because when you learn English, you should learn English for real life. You should be able to talk about your morning. You should be able to talk about your breakfast. You should be able to explain where you are going. You should be able to tell someone what you usually do every day. And you don't need perfect English to do that. Start with simple sentences. Speak slowly, repeat, make mistakes, then try again. That is how you improve. So today, I want you to think about your own morning. What time do you wake up? What do you do first? What do you eat for breakfast? Do you drink coffee or tea? Do you check your phone? When do you leave your home? Try to answer these questions in English. Even if your answers are very simple, that's okay. For example, I wake up at 7. I drink water. I brush my teeth. I eat breakfast. I drink coffee. I get ready for work. I leave home at 8. Simple English is still English. And the more you speak, the more comfortable you become. Now my morning is almost finished, but the day is just beginning. After leaving home, I have to think about where I'm going, what I need to do, and how I'm going to spend the rest of my morning. And that's where our next part begins. So, stay with me. We're going to continue this day together and practice more natural English that you can use in your everyday life. I'm Kumar, and this is Speak Better Daily. Let's keep speaking English one simple conversation at a time.
Hi, everyone. It's Emma, and welcome back to Speak Better Daily. In the last part, Kumar talked about his morning routine, and now it's my turn to tell you about mine. My mornings are a little different because I usually have a lot of things to do. I normally wake up around 6:30. When my alarm rings, I don't always want to get up immediately. Sometimes I look at the clock and think, just 5 more minutes. But I've learned that 5 minutes can quickly become 20 minutes. So I try to get out of bed as soon as possible. The first thing I do is open my curtains. I like seeing the morning light because it makes my room feel fresh and bright. Then I make my bed. After that, I wash my face, brush my teeth, and take a quick shower. When I finish getting ready, I choose what I'm going to wear. Sometimes, choosing clothes is easy. Other times, I stand in front of my closet and think, what am I going to wear today? I might try one shirt, then another shirt, and then change my mind completely. I think choosing clothes can sometimes take longer than getting dressed. After I get dressed, I go to the kitchen. Breakfast is one of my favorite parts of the morning. I usually make something simple because I don't want to spend too much time cooking. I might have eggs, toast, fruit, or oatmeal, and I always like having a warm drink in the morning. Sometimes it's tea, and sometimes it's coffee. While I'm having breakfast, I think about my plans for the day. I ask myself, what do I need to finish today? What is the most important thing I need to do? And what can wait until later? I think planning your day is really helpful. You don't need a complicated plan. Even writing down 3 important things can make your day easier. For example, I might write, finish my work, go to the store, call a friend. That's it. 3 simple goals. When I know what I need to do, I feel more organized. But sometimes my mornings don't go according to plan. Maybe I wake up late. Maybe I can't find my phone. Maybe I forget where I put my keys. Or maybe I spill something on my clothes just before I leave. And when that happens, I have to stay calm. I tell myself, it's okay. Just take a breath and solve one problem at a time. I think that that's an important lesson for everyday life. Not every morning will be perfect. Not every day will go exactly the way you planned, and that's okay. The important thing is to keep moving forward. Before I leave my home, I always check my bag. I make sure I have my phone, wallet, keys, headphones, and anything else I need. Then I put on my shoes, take one last look around, and leave. When I'm outside, I usually feel more awake. The air is fresh, people are starting their day, cars are moving, and everyone seems to be going somewhere. Sometimes I walk. Sometimes I take transportation. And sometimes I just enjoy a quiet moment before the day becomes busy. One thing I really enjoy doing is listening to English while I'm traveling. I don't always understand every single word, and that's okay. I focus on the main idea. Then I listen again. Then I repeat some sentences. This is something you can do too. You don't need to sit at a desk for 2 hours to practice English. You can practice while walking. You can practice while cooking. You can practice while cleaning your room. You can even practice while having breakfast. For example, look around you and describe what you see in English. Say, the door is open. My phone is on the table. I'm drinking coffee. I'm getting ready. I'm going outside. These sentences may seem easy, but they are extremely useful. The goal is to make English part of your daily life. You don't have to translate every sentence in your head. Instead, try to connect the English sentence directly to the action. When you pick up your phone, think, I'm checking my phone. When you put on your shoes, think, I'm putting on my shoes. When you open the door, think, I'm leaving home. The more you do this, the more natural English will feel. And remember, you don't have to speak perfectly. You just have to keep speaking. If you make a mistake, don't stop. Correct yourself and continue. Every mistake teaches you something. Every new sentence gives you more confidence. And every day you practice, you become a little better. Now my morning is coming to an end. I've finished breakfast. I'm ready to leave. My bag is packed. My shoes are on. And I know what I need to do today. So I take a deep breath, open the door, and start my day. And you know what? I'm ready. Because a good day doesn't have to start perfectly. Sometimes it just needs a positive attitude and a willingness to keep going. So if you're listening to this right now, try saying this with me. I'm ready for a new day. I can do my best. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to keep practicing. And most importantly, I can improve my English every day. That's exactly what we're doing here at Speak Better Daily. One conversation, one sentence, one day at a time. And now my morning is over, but our day is not. There's still much more to talk about. So stay with us, because in the next part, we're going to continue our daily life, conversation, and discover what happens when the day really gets busy.
Hey everyone, Kumar here. Welcome back to Speak Better Daily. So far, we've talked about how our day begins. Now the morning is over, and this is where my day really starts to get busy. After I leave home, I usually have several things on my mind. I have places to go, people to talk to, and things I need to finish. Sometimes I have a clear plan for the day, but sometimes something unexpected happens and I have to change my plans. Today is one of those days. When I leave home, I check my phone and look at my schedule. I have 3 important things to do. First, I need to finish some work. Second, I need to go to the store. And third, I need to meet a friend later in the afternoon. I look at my schedule and think, okay, Kumar, let's take it one thing at a time. That's something I've learned. When you have too many things to do, don't think about everything at the same time. Just ask yourself, what should I do first? So I decide to start with my work. I find a quiet place, sit down, and begin. At first, everything is going well. I'm focused. I'm getting things done. I'm feeling productive. Then suddenly, my phone rings. I look at the screen. It's a friend calling. For a second, I think about answering, but I decide to finish my work first. I put my phone away and continue. A few minutes later, I realize that I'm getting distracted. I look at my phone again. I think maybe I'll just check one message. But I know how that story ends. One message becomes another message. Then I check social media. Then I watch a video. Then I remember that I was supposed to be working. So I put my phone away again. I tell myself, focus, Kumar. Sometimes the biggest challenge isn't having too much work. It's staying focused. After working for a while, I finally finish the first thing on my list. I feel good. There's something satisfying about Finishing a task that you've been thinking about all morning. I look at my list and cross it off. One thing done. Two more things to go. Now it's time to go to the store. I need to buy a few things for home. Nothing special. Just some food, drinks, and a few things I need for the week. When I arrive at the store, I realize something. I forgot my shopping list. I check my phone. Nothing. I think, okay, I can remember everything. That sounds easy, right? Well, not always. I walk through the store and try to remember what I need. Milk, bread, eggs, fruit, coffee, and a few other things. I put everything in my basket. Then I walk past a shelf and see something I really like. I think, oh, I should get this too. So I put it in my basket. Then I see something else, and I think, maybe I need this. 5 minutes later, my basket is much fuller than I expected. I look at it and laugh. I came into the store for 5 things. Now I have 15 things. Does that ever happen to you? You go shopping for one simple thing, and you leave with a whole bag of things you didn't plan to buy. Finally, I go to the checkout. I pay for everything and leave the store. Now I have another problem. My bags are heavier than I expected. I'm carrying them with both hands, and I'm thinking, why did I buy so much? But at least I have everything I need. I continue walking and check the time. I still have some time before I meet my friend. So I decide to sit somewhere and relax for a few minutes. I take out my headphones and listen to some English. This is another great way to practice. You don't always need a classroom. You can learn while you're waiting. You can listen while you're walking. You can repeat sentences while you're traveling. You can even practice speaking quietly to yourself. For example, I might describe what I'm doing. I'm sitting here. I'm waiting for my friend. I'm listening to English. I'm checking the time. I'm going to meet my friend soon. These sentences are simple, but simple sentences are powerful when you use them every day. After a few minutes, I get a message from my friend. He says, I'm almost there. I look around and wait. A few minutes later, I see him. We say hello, shake hands, and start talking. We talk about our day. We talk about work. We talk about our plans. And we laugh about some funny things that happened during the week. I really enjoy conversations like this because they feel natural. You don't need a perfect topic. You can simply talk about what is happening in your life. That's real conversation. And that's exactly what I want you to practice. If you're learning English, don't only practice sentences from textbooks. Practice talking about your real life. Talk about your morning. Talk about your work. Talk about your family. Talk about your hobbies. Talk about what you bought at the store. Talk about what you did yesterday. Talk about what you are going to do tomorrow. These are the conversations you will actually use. And remember something important. You don't have to speak fast. Speaking English quickly does not mean speaking English well. Speak clearly. Take your time. Think about your sentence. And if you make a mistake, keep going. For example, you might say, I go to the store yesterday. Then you realize the sentence is wrong. That's okay. You can correct yourself. I went to the store yesterday. Perfect. You made a mistake, noticed it, corrected it, and learned something. That is progress. By the time I finish talking with my friend, the afternoon is getting closer. I check my schedule again. I still have a few things to do, but I don't feel stressed anymore. Why? Because I've already finished some important tasks. And I've learned that a busy day doesn't have to be a stressful day. Sometimes you just need to slow down, take a breath, focus on one thing, finish it, then move to the next thing. So, if your day is busy today, don't worry. Take it one step at a time. And if you're learning English, take it one sentence at a time. You don't need to learn 1,000 words today. Learn 5 useful sentences. Practice them, use them tomorrow. Learn 5 more. Little by little, your English will become stronger. Now my afternoon is almost here. I've finished my work. I went shopping. I met my friend. And there are still a few things waiting for me. So I'm going to continue my day. And in the next part, we're going to talk about something we all need sometimes. Free time? What do I do when the busy part of my day is finally over? That's what we're going to discover next. Stay with me and let's keep practicing English together.
Hi everyone, it's Emma and welcome back to Speak Better Daily. The busy part of the day is finally over. And honestly, this is one of my favorite moments. You know that feeling when you have been busy all day and suddenly you realize, okay, I can finally relax? That feeling is amazing. After a busy day, I usually go home and take a little time for myself. The first thing I do is put my things down, take off my shoes, and sit down for a few minutes. Sometimes I don't even want to talk. I just want to relax and enjoy a quiet moment. Then I usually change into something comfortable. When I'm wearing comfortable clothes, I immediately feel more relaxed. After that, I might make a cup of tea. I sit down, take a deep breath, and think about my day. I ask myself, what did I accomplish today? Sometimes I had a really productive day. Other times I didn't finish everything I wanted to do, but I've learned not to be too hard on myself. Not every day has to be perfect. Some days are productive. Some days are difficult. Some days are exciting. And some days are just ordinary. That's life. One thing I really enjoy doing in my free time is listening to music. Music helps me relax after a long day. Sometimes I listen to calm music. Sometimes I listen to something more energetic. It depends on my mood. I also enjoy watching movies and shows. But when I'm watching something in English, I try to use it as a learning opportunity. I don't stop every few seconds to translate every word. Instead, I listen to the conversation and try to understand the meaning from the situation. If I hear an interesting sentence, I repeat it. For example, if someone says, "What are you up to?" I might repeat it several times. "What are you up to?" This is a very useful expression. It simply means, "What are you doing?" Or, "What are you doing these days?" You might use it when talking to a friend. For example, "Hey, what are you up to?" "I'm just relaxing at home." That sounds natural. And this is exactly the kind of English I want you to learn. English that people actually use, not only English from a textbook. Another thing I like doing in my free time is going for a walk. Sometimes I walk around my neighborhood. I don't need to go anywhere special. I just walk, look around, and enjoy the fresh air. Walking also gives me time to think. Sometimes I think about my goals. Sometimes I think about my plans for tomorrow. And sometimes I don't think about anything at all. I just enjoy the moment. If I'm walking alone, I might also practice English. I describe what I see. For example, the weather is nice today. There are many people outside. The street is busy. I'm walking home. The sun is going down. These are simple sentences, but they help me think in English. And that is something I really want you to try. When you are doing something in your everyday life, describe it in English. If you are cooking, say, "I'm making dinner." If you are cleaning, say, "I'm cleaning my room." If you are watching television, say, "I'm watching a movie." If you're tired, say, "I'm really tired today." If you are happy, say, "I'm feeling great today." You don't need a conversation partner every time you practice. You can start by talking to yourself. Of course, it might feel strange at first, but after a while it becomes normal. And the more you practice, the easier it becomes to find English words when you need them. Another thing I enjoy is spending time with friends. Sometimes we meet at a cafe. Sometimes we walk around the city. Sometimes we just sit somewhere and talk. And you know what? Those simple conversations are a great English practice. You can talk about almost anything. You can't ask, "How was your day?" "What did you do today?" "Are you busy tomorrow?" "What are your plans for the weekend?" "Have you watched any good movies lately?" These questions can start a real conversation. You don't need a complicated topic. Sometimes the best conversations are about simple things. One of my favorite questions is, "How was your day?" It's simple, but it can lead to a long conversation. Someone might say, "It was good," and you can ask, "Really? What did you do?" Then they might tell you about their work. You can ask another question, then another, and suddenly you're having a real conversation. That's how conversations work. You listen. You respond. You ask questions. and you show interest. You don't need to prepare every sentence before you speak. Just listen to the other person and respond naturally. And if you make a mistake, don't worry, keep talking. That is one of the most important things I want you to remember. Many English learners are afraid of making mistakes. They think, what if I say the wrong word? What if my grammar is not perfect? What if someone laughs at me? But if you're always afraid of making mistakes, you may never become confident. Confidence comes from practice. You speak, you make mistakes, you learn, you try again, and eventually, you become better. So tonight, when you have some free time, try something simple. Put on your headphones, listen to an English conversation, choose 3 sentences, repeat each sentence several times, then try to use those sentences in your own life. For example, I'm a little tired today. I'm just relaxing. What are you up to? I had a busy day. I'm ready to relax. These are sentences you can actually use. And the best thing about learning this way is that you are not just memorizing English. You're making English part of your life. Now, as the evening gets closer, I start thinking about tomorrow. I look at my schedule. I prepare a few things. I make sure I know what I need to do in the morning. Then I put my phone away for a while and enjoy some quiet time. Sometimes I read. Sometimes I listen to music. Sometimes I simply sit and relax. And before I go to bed, I think about one thing I'm grateful for. It could be something very small. A good conversation, a good meal, a funny moment, a productive day, or simply having a peaceful evening. Life is made of these small moments. And when you learn to appreciate them, even an ordinary day can feel special. So, if you had a busy day today, take a moment to relax. You did enough. You tried your best, and tomorrow is another opportunity to improve. The day is getting late now. I'm ready to slow down, relax, and prepare for tomorrow. But our conversation isn't finished yet. There is one final part waiting for us. And in the last part, we're going to bring the whole day together from morning to night and finish our English conversation with some useful sentences you can practice every day. So stay with us. We're almost at the end. And remember, you don't need perfect English. You just need to keep speaking.
Hey everyone, Kumar here. We've reached the final part of our daily life English conversation. Today, we followed a whole day together from waking up in the morning, having breakfast, going to work, staying busy, shopping, meeting a friend, and finally finding some time to relax. Now, the day is almost over, and honestly, I think the evening is one of the best times to think about your day. When everything becomes quiet, I like to ask myself a few simple questions. How was my day? What did I accomplish? What could I have done better? And what am I thankful for? Sometimes the answers are simple. Maybe I finished an important task. Maybe I learned something new. Maybe I helped someone. Maybe I had a great conversation with a friend. And sometimes, maybe I didn't accomplish everything I wanted. But that's okay. Tomorrow is another day. One thing I've learned is that you don't have to be productive every minute of your life. Sometimes you need to rest. Sometimes you need to slow down. Sometimes you just need to take a deep breath and say, I did my best today. After dinner, I usually clean up and prepare for the next morning. I check my schedule one more time. I make sure I know what I need to do tomorrow. I might prepare my clothes. I might organize my bag. And I make sure I know where my keys are, because I don't want to spend 10 minutes looking for them in the morning. Then I usually spend some quiet time without my phone. This is something I've been trying to do more often. Phones are useful. They help us communicate, learn, work, and stay connected. But sometimes we need to put them down. Sometimes we need to enjoy a quiet moment. So I might read a few pages of a book. I might listen to calm music. Or I might simply sit and think. And this is also a great time to practice English. Before going to sleep, I sometimes review a few English sentences. Not 20 pages. Not hundreds of words, just a few useful sentences. For example, I had a busy day. I'm tired, but I feel good. I learned something new today. I'm getting ready for bed. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. These sentences are simple, but if you practice them regularly, they become natural. And that is the secret. You don't need to learn everything in one day. You need to practice a little every day. Think about learning English like going to the gym. If you exercise once a month, you probably won't see much progress. But if you exercise regularly, even for a short time, you become stronger. English is similar. If you practice every day, your speaking becomes stronger. Your listening becomes better. Your vocabulary grows. And slowly, you become more confident. So tonight, I want you to do something. Before you go to sleep, describe your day in English. You can say, today, I woke up at 7. I had breakfast. I went to work. I talked to my friend. I went shopping. I came home. I had dinner. Now I'm getting ready for bed. That's a complete English story about your day, and you created it from your own life. You didn't memorize someone else's story. You talked about yourself. That is powerful. You can do this every night. Tomorrow, your story will be different. Maybe you'll wake up earlier. Maybe you'll go somewhere new. Maybe you'll meet someone. Maybe something funny will happen. Whatever happens, try to describe it in English. And if you don't know a word, don't give up. Find a simpler way to say it. For example, if you don't know the word exhausted, you can simply say, I'm very tired. Simple is okay. If you don't know a difficult word, use an easier word. Your goal is communication. Your goal is to express your ideas. You don't need to sound like a dictionary. You need to sound like yourself. And remember, speaking English is not about being perfect. It's about being understood. It's about having the courage to open your mouth and speak. Maybe your pronunciation isn't perfect. Maybe your grammar isn't perfect. Maybe you sometimes forget words. That's completely normal. Keep going. Every time you speak, you're practicing. Every time you listen, you are learning. Every time you make a mistake and correct it, you are improving. So, if you listen to this entire conversation today, I want you to be proud of yourself. You spent time practicing English. That matters. And tomorrow, do it again. Listen to another conversation. Repeat the sentences. Speak out loud. Talk about your day. And little by little, English will become more comfortable. Now it's getting late. I'm tired, but I feel good. I had a busy day. I finished some important things. I spent time with a friend. I learned something new. And now I'm ready to rest. So, before we finish, I want you to repeat these sentences with me. I'm improving every day. I'm not afraid of mistakes. I can speak English. I will keep practicing. And I will become more confident. Excellent. That's the attitude you need. Thank you so much for spending your time with me and Emma on Speak Better Daily. If you enjoyed this English conversation, listen to it again. The second time, try to speak along with us. The third time, try to speak without looking at the words. That's how you can turn listening practice into speaking practice. I'm Kumar. Keep listening, keep speaking, keep learning, and most importantly, speak English every day. See you in the next conversation.